All right. Lots of stats from the ASL KSL era of StarCraft 1. Let's take a look. All right, so pro level between 2016 and 2023 includes game duration, matchup dynamics, player win rates and ratings, map balance, spawn locations, player and matchup development over time. 1,906 games. Damn. I've casted 1,906 games of professional StarCraft since Remastered came out. Okay, okay. Matchups. The distribution of matchups of games in the database is as follows. Most Terran versus Zergs, then Protoss versus Zerg, then Terran versus Protoss, then TVT, ZVZ, and PvP. Okay, so that seems as if it just means that Zergs have done slightly the best overall. Like just having the most players, I guess. That would make sense. We can see that mirror matchups are quite rare, which is only logical. The comparative scarcity of TVPs can be explained by a slight overrepresentation of Zerg in ASL and KSL in general. Yeah. But that leaves no obvious explanation why there have been more TVTs than ZVZs. Probably because Terrans get further in the tournament, I think. Maybe Zergs try to avoid each other in group selections. Actually, there have been seasons where Terrans really choose each other because the other matchups are too hard. That's actually happened before in ASL. It's kind of funny. Match up win rates. So, Artosis is... Wait. So this guy's basically the greatest statistician the world has ever seen. Artosis is technically correct. Artosis is technically correct. This table shows the overall win rate for each race across both its non-mirror matchups. 50.33, 50.67, 49.09. It seems that Protoss is the best race by a margin of some amount of percent over Terran. But since Artosis often points out that Terran only appears to be doing well because of Flash is so good, I decided to check that the win rates would be without Flash. To make a fair comparison, I also removed the statistically best player for each of the other races. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. You should remove the second best Terran as well if you're going to do that. That's bullshit because Flash is 10 times better than anyone from the other races. So this is already a fuck up. This is already a fuck up of these stats, but let's take a look. So when you take Flash in the top Protoss and the top Zerg out, let's see the win rates. 47.97. Oh, shit. Look at that. So Terran does seem to have the worst rates without Flash. Everything I've ever said is true. Everything I've ever said is true. We'll just skim over this. We don't want to read that shit. Let's look at the win rates in non-mirror matchups. T owns Z owns P owns T. But suggests the Zerg's advantage over Protoss is slightly smaller than Terran's advantage over Zerg and Protoss's advantage over Terran. Interesting. TVP overall win rate. And this is with Flash, by the way. 53.3%. Wait. Hold on. I was told by the foreign Brood War scene, including Bonneth, that at the top, Terran beats Protoss. The top would be ASL and KSL. Would it not be? Would it not be? Yet, it seems here as if it's a whole load of bullshit. It seems here as if everything I say is true. Huh. Huh. Isn't that... But wait, I was told that Terran beats Protoss at the top level. Why would this stat look like this? This is with Flash in there, by the way, who has by far the best win rate against Protoss. So, does it mean that literally everyone in the English-speaking Brood War scene is full of shit except for me? Could that be what that means? Could everything I say being proved correct? Could that be what that means? Crazy. Oh, look, Zerg barely beats Protoss. Nice. PvZ is the hardest matchup. Fuck off. While these figures are very unsurprising, the story becomes a lot more interesting when we go...
PvZ is the hardest matchup.
Hey. The story becomes a lot more interesting when we go into some more detail. For starters, let's take a look at the development of the matchup win rates year on year. TVP win rates over time. Oh, shit. What's all that? Is that a Protoss win rate way over Terran? Damn. The power distributions have fluctuated greatly as the races have struggled. Okay. Zerg rules the early game but struggles in the mid game. The late game is balanced. Dude, it's the Canadian flag. Look at that. Oh, that's funny. Look at that. Yeah, you have this timing window where it's like, okay, we have medics and stim. Ah, you got defilers out. PvZ win rates by game duration as well. Yeah, you have that little timing thing. That's a funny thing. Huh. I really like stats like this. Stats like this are actually really, really interesting. And I'm not surprised as you get to very late game Protoss wins again, but you have like these little areas. Because we saw something like this in when 8 million ladder games were looked at, but we were talking about wanting to see that with just like top level games, right? So this is like kind of that. It's not, I don't think it's like as good as if you could get all the ladder replays of all the top players, but I mean, this is about as good as you're going to get, right? And you can see once again, there's like these little windows of time. Bigger windows in these two matchups. We can see that if the game ends quickly, that bodes well for Zerg. In TVZ, there is a clear trend of early victories being Zerg. Mid-game victories being Terran, late game being very even. Long games are quite evenly split in all three matchups. Yeah, I think, by the way, long games being quite evenly split in all three matchups. I think that this probably, now, all jokes aside, I think that this probably has to do with the fact that we get to late game so not often. Right? Especially at the pro level, because people fuck up enough and you just kind of kill them. Right? I think that you would see in all the matchups, like when it gets to long games, it start to go a certain way. I actually think that PvZ probably on most maps would go pretty heavy Zerg. I think TVZ on most maps would go pretty heavy Zerg. And then TVP, I think, would be closer than those two matchups with it favoring Protoss. And we do see actually late game, this is the only matchup it looks like that one race is heavily favored in the late game, and that would be Protoss. So yeah, this looks about right, but I do think that this would go heavier Zerg, and this would go heavier Zerg, even though this one is Protoss favored, it shows. Moving on to spawn locations, we come to one of the most unambiguous findings in the study. Cross spawns is very bad for Terran. Holy shit, who said that? Huh. You know what I like is that all this information's coming out before I die. Because I knew eventually my name would be cleared and you guys would realize that everything I've ever said is fucking true. But it's nice to just get it proven while I'm sitting here on the stream. So I can look at you guys in the eyes and just be like, yeah, fuck off. So, effects of cross-map spawns in each matchup. Look at this. Shit. Net effect plus 12 Zerg. Look at that stuff, man. Damn. Such strong discrepancies across 200 plus games in each matchup on 4-player maps is unlikely to have happened randomly. This table begins to reveal how the overall win rate of each matchup is really just an average of a range of varied win rates under specific conditions. Very well said. TVP in general might be slightly Protoss favored, but TVP on 4-player map with adjacent spawns is strongly Terran favored. Please. Taking a few liberties with your data, are you? If that table began to reveal how circumstance-dependent the power dynamics between the races are, these charts should drive the point home. They show how matchup win rates are affected by whether it's 2-player, 3-player, or 4-player maps. TVP win rate by number of spawns. So, wait. Hold on, though. So you're saying that on a 2-player map, Protoss win rate goes up to the same level that Flash's peak win rate in his career was, 67%. So that's 2/3 plus of all games are won by Protoss at the top level on 2-player maps. Now, hold on. What about the thread on the Brood War Reddit where people let me know that Eclipse, in fact, is a Terran map? That it's a Terran map. What about when Gypsy backed them up and said, yeah, it's a good map for Terran? That's the most played 2-player map in ASL. Huh. I was right again? Huh. Isn't that bizarre that I would know more than a bunch of dumbasses that don't play the game that post on Reddit and Team Liquid? Huh. Weird. How bizarre. Huh. TVZ, not surprised at all to see this favored 2-player. I actually think 2-player would be more favored over time for Terran. Huh, 4-player. That's actually interesting. This is non-intuitive for me. 3-player being the closest? That's not what I would have guessed on that. That's not what I would have guessed for TVZ. Because it's like, it makes it really obvious where Zerg's going to expand to. That's actually really interesting. I have to think about that some. Number of spawn locations. So 2-player, won by Zerg. 3-player. Okay, that's weird. And Zerg wins 4-player. Huh. That's kind of cool. The most notable thing here is just how lopsided TVP on 2-player maps is. Out of 116 games in the database, Terran is 138 and Protoss is 178. If TVP was ever played on a 2-player maps, it was never played on 2-player maps, it would be Terran favored matchup. Terran also fares better with more spawning locations against Zerg, although this is far less pronounced. This is consistent with another finding in the data, which was that Artosis is always right. Wait, no. Well, that's what he should have written, but he wrote, which was that the bigger the map in size by tiles, the better for Terran. I have not included that figure here because it shows the same as the above, but less markedly. PVZ, on the other hand, seems hardly to be affected by the number of spawning locations on the map at all. I'll leave it to more accomplished players to explain this difference. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I think PVZ, most of the games are decided really quickly. We don't get very many late games. So the amount of bases on the map doesn't generally matter. Like, is it a 12 base map? Is it a 16 base map? You never take all the bases in PVZ. It's so rare. As far as the bigger map, by size and tiles, the better for Terran. I could see that maybe being the case against Zerg, because you want distance between so that they can't do defiler pushes easily, and you're a little bit more mobile because you get map control in the mid-game. But like, if you went to a really gigantic map, it would be... So, like, I think it really matters per map basis. Like let's say that we played a 256 by 256. Terran literally would never beat Protoss even one game on that map, right? If it gets that large, like, you just can't snuff Protoss out. It's impossible. So the thing is, 128 by 128 is the biggest maps that we ever play at the pro level. And so you would have to look at it and be like, okay, well, what maps are smaller than that? And it's almost all 2-player maps, right? Occasionally, I think you get a 3-player map that's smaller than 128 by 128, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. All right, maps. Let's keep our focus on the maps for a bit before we move on to the stats about players. No less than 68 different maps have been used in ASL and KSL. 19 2-player maps, 14 3-player maps, and 35 4-player maps. Tile set, look at that. So 2% ice, 2% ash world. That's funny. I'm not surprised about that. 7% desert, 14%, that's Badlands, right? 27% jungle, 26% space, 22% twilight. Okay, so a couple things about that. So ice maps in general, it's not a good tile set because a lot of the terrain is snow, and you can't put a lot of snow onto a map because if Protoss is warping a building in, it's actually like it agitates your eyes. It's crazy. Like it glows so bright you can't see what's going on. As far as the actual tiles as well, like some of the switches between high ground and low ground and stuff like that are not very good on ice. As far as the char maps or whatever it's called, Ash World, there's certain things like the lava tile sets, which are unbuildable tiles for Ash World, you can't see burrowed lurkers on. So it's actually a really big problem. That's why you see almost no maps on those 2 tile sets, right? So Zerg gets an advantage on Ash, and then Protoss gets a disadvantage on snow tile sets. As far as desert goes, desert has like really weird high ground shit. It has kind of a wide ramp as well. Badlands is kind of low. That's interesting. Jungle is generally considered the best tile set. It's like the ramp is very, very good for jungle. The different ways that you can make like unbuildable versus buildable terrain, it's really easy to tell. It's like in general, I mean, that's what we play the most on the ladder and stuff, right? I think space and like these 2 are very similar as far as what the ramps look like and stuff. And then this one is Badlands is actually very close to jungle, I think. I can't think of anything wrong with Badlands, so it's kind of interesting that's low. For some reason, we almost never see maps on Ash tile set. Why? Well, I just explained it. Since most of these maps have been in use for only 1 or 2 seasons, you can't really get anything. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Go through this a little bit quicker. Ooh, look, Sylphid is the most played map. Oh, no, most to least balanced maps. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Sylphid is super balanced. That's cool. That's cool. I like Sylphid. Everyone likes Sylphid. In the Way of an Eddy is quite balanced, it looks like. What? Most to least balanced. Butter? Okay, Polypoid makes sense. Eclipse, Vermeer, Circuit Breakers, Fighting Spirit. Oh, fucking puke. Benzene, Gladiator. It's way down here. Gladiator's not a good pro map anymore. Oh, look at that. Sylphid is actually very Protoss unfavored. That's interesting. What? Win rates displayed with the first race mentioned in the matchup, e.g. Sylphid has a 47% win rate for T in TVP, 47% for T in TVZ, and 58% for P in PVZ. Okay. And somehow that's the most balanced map. The Gladiator's bad for a lot of reasons. Having a ramp down, like a base down the ramp, is a real big problem there. Look at this. TVP, 12% win rate for Gladiator for Terran. Crazy. All right, players. We'll abandon the bird's eye view and instead zoom on how individual StarCraft 1 pros have been faring against each other. A total of 76 players have qualified for ASL and or KSL at least once. 27 Zerg, 26 Terran, 23 Protoss. But I thought that there's like no Protoss players. It's only Terrans. But it turns out it's pretty fucking close. Weird. Sulky, Mini, Light, Rain, Best, Sharp, Snow, Hero, Queen, Rush, Flash. So Flash never played in KSL. And he skipped at least one ASL when he was active and has been in the military for a while. So I think that's why he's dropped down. Whereas these players have almost all been completely active the whole time. And these are the players that generally get very deep anyways. When, like, I think what you'll see in 5 years is Flash will probably go up to the top as KSL's 4 seasons aren't going to count as much. And these other players go to the military. It's funny that Rain, despite the fact that he, he gets to skip military, but he doesn't play too many ASLs anymore. But he is really far up there. He's just so good. Scan. Woo. Notably, the 2 finals of last ASL are also the 2 players with the most games played in ASL and KSL in terms of win rate. These are the overall standings. Look at that fucking win rate. Oh my God, 74.58% for Flash. Not surprised, not surprised, not surprised, not surprised, not surprised. Oh, that's nice. That's nice, Light. Congratulations. Well deserved. Soma, Bisu, Hero. Where do we get to the 50%? All right, so Mind and JYJ are at 50%. That's so funny. We have a champion of ASL, and he's at 50%. That shows you how fucking hard this tournament is. My God. And then right below that, everyone's losing. 4GG, 17% win rate. Damn. So leaves little room for doubt, who has been the best player in this era of StarCraft. However, Flash hasn't played since 2020. And when in a moment we'll check the ranking privileges, recent performance, the story will be more ambiguous. Let's take a look at all the matchups. TVT, best win rate, Flash. TVP, best win rate, Flash. TVZ, best win rate, Flash. It's kind of crazy. Look at this. Last actually has a Last has a losing win rate in TVP. How many people have a winning win rate? 4 players. 4 players have a winning record in this matchup. That's crazy. 6 in TVT. That's a funny thing. Only 6 in TVT. And TVZ, we go a lot deeper, right? 9 players with a winning record. Oh, that's funny. Russia's losing in TVZ. Huh. His TVZ is so good, too. Okay. PVT. Look at Snow. Nice. Rain PvP, of course. Wait, how many people have a winning record here? 7? And then 2 evens. Okay. And, wow, Stork has a winning record in PVZ. So, Rain, Bisu, best, Jaehoon. Jaehoon so randomly. Only 12 maps, though. Right, ZVT, yeah, effort. No big surprise there. And where's Soma, though? Dude, Soma's at 38%. That's crazy. That's why he doesn't win fucking ASL. ZVZ Queen up at top. Okay. Light is often praised for his TVZ as statistically his worst matchup. He's unbelievable TVZ. It's just there's volatility. Mong is the most lopsided record. Yeah, they sometimes joke about Mong, how like if there wasn't TVZ, he would be like Flash because he's so good at macroing mech. He's really good at it. He's dead last in TVT and TVZ. Oh man. No one has a 55% plus win rate in ZVZ. It seems the most random matchup. We've known that for a very long time. Yeah, 54%. Well, that's the thing. Sulky's weakness is ZVZ. Well, let's check his other 2 matchups. Sulky, 59%. Sulky, 62%. Yeah, so it is by far his weakest matchup. That is why he doesn't win more ASLs. Flash is number 1. Rain is the Monarch of Ire. Best and worst matchup scores across all matchups. All matchups, best win rate is Rain. Damn, PvP. Followed by Flash and Flash. Worst, Mong. Royal TVP. Damn, that's hurtful. This is some great stats that this guy put together. All right, so this is just like ratings overall. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. That's kind of how ratings go. The ELO development, okay. Don't care about that as much. That's not like really super useful data, to be honest. If you're playing Snow or JYJ, finish them off quickly. Win rate by game duration. Snow. He never wins early on and then gets pretty deadly. Okay, makes sense. Win rate by game duration. JYJ. Dude, he doesn't win like at all basically until up to 15 minutes. That makes some sense though. Terran doesn't win a lot of early games. Mind in the mid game. Oh, that's hilarious. Dude, that is so interesting. Look at this. All of Mind's wins are in the 11 to 13 minute range, which means he's just like a counterattacker or a timing attacker. That's it. Well, that's the way that Terran realistically is played. It's like you have a window in the mid game where Terran is very strong and nothing else. There's no early game for Terran. The late game is not very good for Terran, so you have that window and you need to try to finish him off. And damn, the fact that he got second in ASL with his stats looking like that's pretty crazy. If you're playing Shine, kill him in the mid game. I love this. Shine is so cheesy. So he wins just in the early game, and then it's like, oh, did you live through that? He's fucked. If you're playing with Jadong, 11 to 13 minutes, he doesn't win at all. Late game, he doesn't win either. That's interesting. General tournament stats, fastest to slowest by their game duration. Okay. Where's 8:15? Where's 8:15? Oh, I guess he didn't have enough games. Because 8:15 just like 4 pools people. But yeah, Hyun rushes a lot. Longest game duration, who is it? Mong. 18 minutes. Yeah, because he only wins TVPs, right? Terran players all down here. Look at that. Look at that. Only Flash finishes people quickly. Look at that. Look at this. It's like all Zerg wins. That's funny. I guess ZVZ plays into that too. Slowest Zerg player's action. Yeah, that makes sense. Fastest is Barracks. That makes sense as well. Free is practically a Terran trapped in Protoss's body. And this actually points to something I've talked about a lot as well. See how Terran, like, if Terran wins the game, it's always like your average game length is going to be really long. It makes it harder to practice as Terran as well. Another reason why Terran is the hardest race. Tournament stats. Longest and shortest games. Okay, well, I mean, we don't really care about this that much, but we'll take a quick look. So duration, 48 minutes, 47, 41, 41. Yeah, okay, whatever. And the shortest, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. It's all 4 pools, like, most likely. This is funny. Sulky is known as a macro Zerg, but that apparently doesn't stop him from having been involved in 3 of the shortest games ever. It's because he 4 pools a lot. That's why he's so good. Average duration of each matchup. Terran vs. Terran is the longest, followed by Terran vs. Zerg. Oh, Protoss vs. Zerg is just over Terran vs. Zerg. But yeah, once again shows that Terran games take the longest. Pain in my ass. And the longest games in each matchup. Yeah, we don't need to see that. Matchup duration by spawns. So, yeah, cross spawns just in general. It's like a minute longer in ZVZ even. 3 minutes longer PVZ. TVP, a minute and 30 seconds longer. Okay. The first game myth. Just need to win the first map to take the... Okay, the winner of game 1 ended up winning the best of 5, 73% of the time. That's huge. That's fucking huge. Well, I don't know what this is all about. A lot of times the person who wins game 1 wins game 2 or 3. Map selection advantage. The player who chose the map went on to win the game 55%. Just slightly less for mirror. Okay. 6% of reverse sweeps. Okay. The best of 7s have never been reverse sweep. Not surprised. That's a hard one to do. Average revolt of a seeded player is, okay, 8.8. So they generally make round of 8. They generally make it out of their group. Additional notes. All right, that's pretty damn cool. That's cool. That's some really good stats